better understanding of the unknown, you become more comforted. You should be building who you want to be. The experience itself as a late bloomer as a kid is very draining. Oh, I started later than the others. Okay, do we see me? Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. We are doing 2 journal entries in a row. I haven't done them in a while and there's actually a lot of things I want to talk about. But today, something that I really want to talk about is late bloomers. I always thought that itself meant like, oh, dating, physical appearance. And it actually applies to like talent. It applies to a lot of things. And I did a little bit more research on what does a late bloomer even fucking mean. It says that they typically develop a bit slower compared to their peers. But they quickly catch up and sometimes even overtake their peers. I only really talk about things that really stuck in my head. I've seen people where people are like, oh my god, the things that Via talk about are not even like groundbreaking. I agree. The things I talk about is definitely not groundbreaking. These videos I make is for my younger self to watch. I only make things I wanted to hear when I was younger. If you hear this and you're like, I already knew this, duh. Good for you. No, I genuinely mean it. I don't mean it in a sarcastic way. Good for you, because these were things that I didn't really know. There's actually a lot of people out there who might not know. The reason why I really want to make this video is because I myself is a late bloomer in all aspects of things. Appearance, love life, career, work, achievements, I guess, if you want to say that. I'm 23 and I don't consider 23 to be old. Some people might consider it old. Some people might consider it young. I just think it's 23 is 23. I think what bothers me, I've only started living for myself a bit more than a year ago. I was generally just like, fuck it. I'm just gonna do what I want. I only really realized my potential a bit later in life, and sometimes it makes me relieved. I'm like, oh, thank god I realized it, or else this would have been the whole waste of a time of a life, honestly. But then at the same time, it makes me a little regretful. Shit, I could have realized this a lot sooner, which is why I want to make this video, because I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way as I do. Oh, I started later than the others, which is why my mentality is kind of like, I need to work twice as hard because I started later. It's not really a good mindset. Sometimes you think of the clock as constantly ticking. We all need breaks. This is something I learned myself too. That could be a completely separate topic, but it's just my work ethic. I like working hard. Going forward with this video, of course, I'm only going to talk about my experience as a late bloomer. You can have your own experiences. This is my video. Of course, I'm going to talk about my experience. So usually when we talk about late bloomers, we think about looks. I think we already all know this. I grew up ugly. Click right here and you'll see all about that. I was shy. I was not very talkative. I was overweight. I know, little kids, they don't know much. I remember middle school popularity was such a big thing. Of course, I was not one of the popular kids. Like, it's either you're popular or you're fucking nothing. And honestly, that was kind of like the thing back in middle school. Like, I just felt so left out. You're a child. You don't know any better. I'm enjoying my alone time. Like, no, you want to be hanging out with your friends. Hence, I was always an outsider looking at. I was constantly observing, because what else do you do when you're not included, right? You observe. That's what you do. Just constantly observing everyone. Like, oh, why did you do that? I think I learned a lot. I think I'm more careful with my actions as best as I can. I'm more sensitive to others. I try to be more aware of things. Now that I fit into the beauty standard a little bit more, or know how to, you know, how I dress up, how I do my makeup, I gain pretty privilege. I'm not trying to sit here and flatter myself, but pretty privilege is real. People treat you differently when you look a certain way. That's just on period. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's just how it is. Other than just appearance, late bloomer can also apply to achievements, to your work. I grew up watching YouTube videos. I never considered myself to be able to make YouTube videos up until like, freshman year of college. Until I was 18, I didn't post photos about myself. Very rarely I post photos of myself on social media, because back then I used to have an art account. I wouldn't post pictures of myself because, oh, that's so much attention on my face. I don't like that. So me sitting here right now and making videos for people to see, it's crazy to me. I lacked a lot of confidence as a kid. I didn't believe I could do what I do now. I go by Via, but a lot of you guys don't know my full name is actually no Via. I actually decided that I want to go by Via. I think like maybe like a few years into doing TikTok, people ask me why I changed my name. Not like I officially changed my name, I just prefer to be called Via. I think it was also for me as like, this is where we create a new identity right now. Start living for yourself. Let's also change our name a little bit. I honestly don't think I've ever really told anyone this. Which is really crazy. So yeah, now you guys know why I decided to go by Via. My experience as an outsider and also not believing in my own potential. I know what it feels like. Regarding late bloomers, I really feel like we tend to be a bit more mature than others because we've seen things on the other side. Now we gain more compassion, at least I do. I understand how it feels to not believe in your potential. When I see other people going through, I'm like, that really sucks, because I know it sucked because I went through it. It's me really happy that I have the confidence telling people that, being like, hey, you know, you actually can't do this. I also know that I cannot change anyone, but I want to be able to have the confidence to have this conversation with you, friends or peers or just people I met. Like I said, with all sorts of motivational quotes, you need to be the one living through it to truly understand it. I do think that someone close to you telling you that, hey, I believe in you, it means a lot. In my previous journal entry, I said that you don't need anyone to believe in you if you want to go achieve something. Everything I say depends on context. Of course, other people believing in you makes you feel good. It's a good thing for people to believe in you. But if you really want to chase after your dreams, like I said in the previous journal entry, you need to believe in yourself, because other people will be like, I believe in you, you got this. You don't put in any action actions, you don't try to go for what you want, it doesn't matter. Their words are just empty. If you truly want to do something and somebody's like, I believe in you, that one last push is all you need sometimes. We cannot view ourselves from a third person's perspective. I've always wanted to be able to view myself from a stranger's perspective because I don't really know what I'm like. These days, I try to be the outside support for myself. I know how I operate. When I say something, I want to do it, I will do it. So I'm basically unstoppable now. I say I want to do something, I do it. Like, what's stopping me now? It took me time to gain this confidence. It takes a lot of experience, takes a lot of failure and success, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. It's experience. It's literally life. I know people are like, I'm worried, I'm not getting better. It just takes time. As you get older, you just gain more experience. You toughen up, your skin gets thicker. I can't imagine me right now acting like how I am when I was in high school. How old was I? Yeah, I was super young. My skin was very thin because I don't see how big the world is. I wasn't really much exposed to people. But the more you're exposed to people, the more you realize how like we all are. Okay, of course we all differ, you know what I mean? At the same time, at the core, we're similar. We don't want to be laughed at, don't like to be yelled at, like anger, sadness, happiness, like all of that. And then when you realize it, you're like, we're kind of the same. Okay, that's humans, I guess. When you gain a better understanding of the unknown, aka for me it was people, you become more comforted. I personally find the unknown is scary. Hence I'm very scared of the ocean. Yeah, I'm very scared of the ocean. Yeah, I would honestly consider that I changed for the better. I do get hate and I see a lot of people like, oh, she changed. You put yourself online. These comments are bound to happen. Because honestly, if I didn't change or I didn't really realize my potential, I would not be sitting here making videos for you guys. You guys probably would not even have known me if I didn't change. And I'm constantly changing. I think as humans, it's important to be evolving and constantly becoming better. Like when you realize your potential, it really gives you a confidence boost. You realize your potential at a later age. So when you're at a later age, a lot of us are more mature because this wasn't given to us. And because we were outsiders, we were never in the game. I think we are also more grateful. Oh, if I believe in myself, life can actually be like this. I'm just very grateful for everyday things, which is why I think I focuses a lot on the details. For the longest time for my life, things were not the way I wanted to be. And I never thought that I can actually be in control of my life because I didn't think I was capable of that. For those who don't know, I grew up in a restaurant up until high school. Right after school, I would go straight to the restaurant and help out. So I didn't really go to much after school hangout, birthday parties, or any sort of interaction after school. My only interaction with kids my own age was in school. You would say that that's enough. For certain friendships to build up, you need time outside of school. I wasn't very social enough either to even go to those hangouts. I think I started going to people's houses probably 7th grade or like onward. I think I didn't have my first Instagram until I was like in 8th grade or freshman year of high school. Yes, it sounds young now, but back then, everyone had a fucking social media because I was like, what's the point of even being online anyway? Like there's no point, I don't have anything to post. Or I just watch like my YouTube videos. Like I'm like, I don't need Instagram. What is that for? At a young age, I will say that I dealt mostly with adults. Even now, I become good at things when people have already gotten better at it. I think I got my driver's license and my permit when I was 20 or 21. I started wearing makeup freshman year of college. I think I really tried to get better at it during COVID. Oh, COVID was like 4 years ago, I would say. And I will also say that this definitely matters a lot with financial stuff too. I went to Tufts for undergrad and I got a full ride. I studied my ass off back in high school, basically. I took like 14, 15 AP classes. I was involved in a bunch of clubs. I was so focused on one thing, getting good grades, getting into college. I didn't really care I was a late bloomer. Regarding late bloomers, those around them are also surprised with their potential. Friends, families, because there's a reason why you're a late bloomer, because nobody sees your potential. I didn't know I had what it takes to become who I am today because I didn't believe in myself. And it's just so funny because all it really takes is that you need to believe in yourself and that you need to put in actions. Those actions might seem so trivial. It just generally just means starting, like starting something. When you go about life, you shouldn't be thinking, who am I, who am I, who am I? You should be building who you want to be. I think it's building and that becomes who you are. You can change things that you don't like about yourself because those people around you are kind of also surprised. Oh my God, like I didn't know that she has a potential. Some people might want to put you in your place. Like, oh, whoa, don't get too ahead of yourself there. Like, and it's horrible. It's really bad because they should be supporting you, your close ones, but they're not used to it. I'm not making excuses for them, but that's how their mindset goes. That you're not used to seeing you. Like, so you need to have them get used to you at your potential. So you need to constantly be leveling up. My potential is so high up. I haven't even reached half of it. Me back then would be so astounded with where I am now. Like even to just film a camera and having people see me. But I think to my core, I've always liked talking. I always had a lot of thoughts. It's just that I didn't know where to put it. There's no outlet. So I remember like back then posting on my private Snapchat stories, like on the randomest shit, just talking about my day. I felt kind of bad. People choose to click on it. So I bought it onto TikTok and start ranting on TikTok. Yeah, I've always had so many ideas in my head and I just needed to get it out. It's really crazy because my younger self where like I would take an iPad and I would film me making makeup tutorials and I would never post it. Taking like my mom's like sample size like makeup product. It didn't even look good, honestly. Products were probably expired, but you know, it's fun. Imagine I go back to my middle school younger self and I'm like, hey, I should make videos now. And I genuinely think that my younger self, if she sees me, she'll think I'm pretty cool. She's so pretty. She's so full of confidence. Sad thing is that she probably thinks that she can never be like me. But the sad thing is that I'm her. I'm literally hurt. It just, you know, it kind of makes me sad for her to think that, like, hey, that's unattainable. I'm ugly. Like, people around me call me fat and I don't have any friends. And that really sucks. I wish I could go back and just tell her, hey, you can wear whatever you want. The experience itself as a late bloomer, as a kid, is very draining because I think that in a society where we constantly value like early achievements, music awards, science awards, SAT scores, good grades, getting into privileged institutions, whether that's middle school, high school, or college, parents and your guardians put a lot of pressure on you, your peers put a lot of pressure on you. When you don't reach that, it sucks. It sucks as an adult, of course, but it sucks especially as a child because as a child, you don't have a sense of self yet. You don't know what's going on. So when people tell you suck, you just internalize that I suck. Because the world is only so big to you as you see it as a kid, and that itself is not big. As a kid, if you're behind your peers, whether that's appearance, achievements, whatever, really messes with your head and leads to a lot of trauma as well. Your sense of confidence also decreases. I personally believe that all of us are bloomers. I just think that people bloom in different ways. Because the word late bloomers itself seems a little exclusive. Oh, what if those people who never bloom, right? So hence I want to say that I personally believe everyone blooms. Some people bloom right when they're born. Some people bloom when they're 10. Some people bloom when they're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, right? People bloom when they start realizing how much they can achieve within themselves. So going to my first initial thought where I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why? It's so stupid because time already passed. What has happened and we make the most out of it now. That's what I tell myself. And that's what I want to tell you guys too. I feel a lot more grateful than regret. I'm glad I realized it. I'm glad I did it. I make these videos for my younger self. I'm a mother of a young girl and that shit is made. I just feel very grateful that I realized it when I realized it. I guess I can be like, oh, you could have done this sooner. What's happened. We can't change the past, can we now? So we move on. And I think that's really good because sometimes I think that if we can change the past, that gets really stressful. That could complicate things really quick. Because we can't change the past, it simplifies a lot of things. We just move forward. You never know what's gonna happen in the front, right? And I think that's the beauty of it. I'm just gonna do the most of what I can in the present. That's it. And then you sleep and then it's the next day. It's because the season of the fall, for those who don't know, that's my favorite season. I feel very grateful. I'm just like, just being alive is so nice. Just being able to experience life is so nice. Bringing myself outside really makes me a lot happier. And for those of you guys who are like, oh my god, what if I haven't reached my potential yet? What's the potential line? Who knows? But I think that when you bloom, you'll know. Okay, I know that sounds super cringe. Like, what do you mean if I bloom, I'll know? I think that you should dictate it on whether you're happy or not. Because back then I would feel happiness when I finished an exam or when I finished a group project. Being able to feel happiness by itself with no external reason. Maybe some people can reach their full potential, but I think everyone, you're still reaching your potential constantly. Like your potential is very, very high up there. I've realized my potential, I've not reached it. I'm reaching it in progress. I think that's a very beautiful thing because if you're like, oh my god, life is so good right now. Well, it can get better. I don't want it to come off like, oh, you have to be greedy. Things are always gonna be better. You should be grateful for where you are now, but also life can always get better. I feel like as late bloomers, it just goes to show that you shouldn't really dictate anyone. You're telling them as a kid, like, oh, you're a failure, you suck at this, you suck at that. Well, maybe that's just not her playing field. Maybe that's just not what she's good at. Nobody's a failure in life. Fuck you, bro, if you call someone that. No, you just need the right environment. You need the right people. You need the right setting. You need the right time. We're all gonna bloom. Some of us just bloom later in life. It's okay. We all bloom eventually. We all bloom differently. We're all different flowers. We all need different ingredients, different environment, different amount of sunlight, different amount of water, different types of soil. And the way we bloom is going to look very different. But at the end, we're all gonna look beautiful. It's a flower. When it blooms, it's gonna look beautiful, regardless. I think it takes a lot for me to come to this point where I'm sitting here like life is very beautiful. Something that stayed consistent with myself is that I always love talking. I always have a lot of thoughts. I've always appreciated the small things in life. I've always liked looking at things. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. Even back then when my life was like so hectic, I'm always constantly stressed. I've always enjoyed the little things. And I felt kind of bad admitting it when I was younger because I'm like, this little thing doesn't even matter if you don't reach your goal. So from a late bloomer to another late bloomer, life is gonna be great. It sounds so cringe, but we should help other people bloom, right? I think it's just such an achievement to be able to realize that you are in control of your life. You're unstoppable because you can achieve anything that you want. If you're worried about the same thing I am, or you're like, oh, I'm a little behind my peers, do your best in the present, enjoy the present. Life is gonna pass, you know, time is gonna pass. You're not gonna be this young forever. This moment's gonna pass, right? The you who watched this video at the beginning is probably a little bit different than you who watched the video after. Because before this video started, you didn't watch this video. Now, after the video ended, you watched the video. It just goes to show you how quick time passes too. It's go to show you that time is always fleeting. So you might as well enjoy the moment. Find out what you like, be happy with who you are, and it takes time. It took me years, you know? I hope this video was relatable to you guys. I hope you guys realize that you're not alone in this shit, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed this video and let me know what you guys think. And I will see you guys all next week, okay? Until then, have an amazing rest of your morning, afternoon, and night. I'll see you guys very soon.